Anyone could try it, anyone at all. The feeling is like, wow, is this really possible?
There's so much untapped potential.
Absolutely. All the information in the world will basically cost next to nothing, and you can access it.
What happens next? Is there any kind of plan?
Human-to-human interaction will remain the most valuable. The starting price is 5,000 Ether. Anyone who's afraid of being replaced by artificial intelligence is not an artist. It's like he creates, but for him it's like, okay, here's the fence, you can't go here, you can't go there. You can do anything really, as far as your imagination takes you.
Can I paint a container already?
A container, you can. It was my first time experiencing this too, and I went through all those ups and downs. It matters.
How can AI personally help you?
Think like a winner, acting with the fire of a star. Either you're just a spectator, or you're the master of your own fate.
Hey everyone, you're watching the Axiomica channel. Today we have a very unusual guest. Can I call you that?
Of course.
Vasily Popov, an artist, NFT artist, yes, probably NFT artist, NFT creator, as they say. The first person to send his painting somewhere into another world called the ISS. By the way, I actually met him at yesterday's Blockchain Live Forum. I saw how this person painted a large number of pictures over 2 days. How many paintings did you manage to create?
4, 2 on the first day, 2 on the second. Hello everyone, friends. Today I'm painting pictures, but really paintings are always about feelings. And since I'm a poet, I write words. That's why this painting is dedicated to the Phenomenon Club, where friendship, brotherhood, achievement, people, talent, joy and care for one another reign. Hugs to everyone. Hello everyone, friends.
Please tell us a little about yourself, because honestly, this is actually my first interview with someone from the art sector and also someone involved with crypto. So it would be great if you could share a bit more about yourself. Then we can move on to some questions.
Actually, besides being an artist, I'm also a poet. And in general, from the very beginning, I am a person of words, someone who creates through words, through poetry. So I started out as an artist specifically through words, through poetry. When I write poems, I sketch and draw in the margins of my manuscripts, making little sketches and various drawings. There were a lot of these drawings. And when the big NFT hype happened in 2021, I immediately realized that these little drawings, these sketches, fit perfectly into the NFT story, and you could make collections out of them. And that's how I actually got into crypto. So I'm not a crypto enthusiast at all. I'm a person of art, a creative person. All my life I've been involved in literature, writing books, writing poetry, and drawing. And through the NFT sector, I was, so to speak, integrated into crypto and got a chance to look at cryptocurrency and in general to see what this world is, the world of digital technologies, blockchain, and what we can actually do with it. That's how I got into crypto and started with an NFT collection.
Okay. Since you're familiar with NFTs, do you consider NFT to be a new cultural language? Or is it the same language as before, just now supported in the digital realm?
It's just another, let's say, tool in the language of art. That's it. Just the next one. I mean, right now, a lot of people are afraid that artificial intelligence, for example, will leave artists without work. But in reality, that's not the case. It's just another element that's entering our lives. That's all. We need to accept it and work with it. You can work together with artificial intelligence, or you can also continue without artificial intelligence. But when a new technology comes along, why not interact with it? Why not talk to it? Why not engage with it and see how your heart responds to it?
The reason I ask is simple. I've noticed that when NFTs appeared, if you look at it from the perspective of styles, the style of paintings also changed somewhat because of NFTs, because at the very least, it introduced the possibility of drawing with digital blocks, right? I mean, it's all in pixels. Basically, no one really used this approach in images before. If you look at well-known NFTs, like CryptoPunks, for example, which are made up of little squares, essentially, that was the work of artists, but not done by hand. Have you noticed any innovations in the art world with the emergence of NFTs?
Well, there's definitely more freedom now. Let's put it that way, more freedom. The key thing is that you can create something right here and now in this very moment and exactly the way I want. And that's an important part of exploring your own soul, because many people are afraid to even approach art since there are so many boundaries set up. And here anyone could try. Really, this is also important to take a look at yourself and see what parts of your life remain unopened. After all, there's so much hidden inside many people. Someone might be a brilliant musician, but they never even tried. Someone might be an amazing artist, but they never even tried. And now technology gives you the chance to quickly try yourself out, really to go through a range of different possibilities. And wherever you feel a response, wherever you start to succeed and feel you can keep going, you can take that path. The key thing is that technology gives you the opportunity to quickly try yourself in different roles, including creatively, of course.
When you started uploading your pictures, your images to the NFT market, who were you looking up to? And did you create any new special works specifically for the NFT market, or did you just transfer your old ones?
I started everything completely new. I mean, I looked around, I saw that I had drawn similar things before different images. And as an artist, I began my own story. That is my own story of an NFT collection of entities. Basically, these are facets of a person, both light and dark sides, the people themselves. These are images that just came out, as they say in poetry, created in a burst of inspiration at high speed. That's it. And when I started posting these quick sketches, people began to write to me. And most interestingly, they started buying them. And this moment also gave a push to keep moving forward and to keep building the collection. It started to grow on its own. And then when the theme of space came up, which really fascinates me as a person, I mean, what is out there beyond the stars, right? It's always interesting, you know? And there was this call like, who will be the first to launch an NFT artwork into space? So this whole topic was developing, and it really resonated with me. I thought our country is huge and we were the first in space. I should give it a try. So I started trying to look for opportunities, how to do it, who to communicate with. At first, I went to Roscosmos, knocking on different doors. Of course, there were a ton of rejections. But at the same time, through all those rejections, you find people who are interested, people to whom you add your idea, and it grows. The main thing is to keep moving forward. And in the end, I got acquainted with Roscosmos and with cosmonaut Oleg Artemiev, and it all came together. And I was invited to Baikonur when the rocket was launched. And Oleg Artemiev took this painting, well, the digital one, the first one, from this very NFT collection printed out, like a cast, so to speak. And I watched him board, I saw him off, I shook his hand. I even gave him some parting words, you know, something like that. It's an unforgettable experience. Then 2 kilometers away, actually, even farther, probably 5 when they were landing. Even now, as I'm telling this, I get goosebumps. They were landing, and we watched as it rose into the sky, basically, as it launched. It's truly an amazing event.
Hello, this is the Axiom channel. Our company develops Web3 products for businesses, and we address a wide range of issues related to the tokenization of your business and other products. We develop smart contracts, launch blockchain projects, and of course share our expertise through our YouTube channel so you can understand what cryptocurrency is. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay updated on news and new releases. This is Axiom.
You rarely see that in real life.
Yeah, it's a very, well, rare thing, you know. But if you find yourself in that moment and live through it, it really feels like the rocket with its fire burns your soul all the way down to your heels, so to speak. And it stays in your memory and naturally pours out into your future creativity.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. Could you tell me, please, the first paintings you announced as NFTs, on which blockchain were they placed?
On Ethereum, on the OpenSea marketplace.
OpenSea, right? At the time when you entered the NFT market, how relevant and in demand was it? Because it keeps going up and down.
Yeah, it was at its absolute peak when I got in. I mean, everyone was talking about it. Everywhere you turned, it was NFT, NFT, NFT. it was impossible not to notice, And people who are open to new things, yeah, they got swept up in it too. NFTs were really booming. There were crazy sales. Almost every collection that was created took off, and it was just this kind of roller coaster. And I got into it for the first time too, and rode that whole roller coaster. It's important to go through that yourself, to try buying them and to try selling them as well. So all these ups and downs that happen, they immediately immerse you in the market, and you start creating along with it, so to speak. It's also this idea of co-creation.
Well, Beeple sold his JPEG artwork for $69 million.
Yeah.
What did you feel inside about that situation? Could you, for example, imagine yourself in his place?
Absolutely. The feeling is amazing. And the state is like, wow, is that even possible? And you think, yeah, it is. It really is. Moreover, I actually set a goal to break Beeple's record. Why not? You have to set goals like that. And with this painting, which was the first ever in space, it's possible. That's it, because it's unique. And this collection, which consists of 350 paintings that I've been working on for 4 years now, I didn't make 5,000 or 10,000 like generative art, but instead I created each one meticulously and over a long period. That's how I paint. That's how I move forward. So in 2021, there were 30 paintings. In 2022, another 50. And in 2023, another 100 or so. And that's how over time it added up to 350 paintings. It's a limited collection. So over 4 years, I created it, you could say.
That's cool. What about the painting on the ISS doors? It already have an owner, or is it?
No, it doesn't have an owner yet. Actually, the auction for it is now open. The starting price is 5,000 Ether. And this money essentially is another thing. It's something that unfolds. I'm saying the coolest thing about NFTs and the art industry in general is that a project kind of grows. It's like a seed, a grain, so to speak. There are also leaves, and now we're moving toward the flower and the fruit. And the flower and fruit, that's to use this money to build a world garden of poetry. Since I am a poet, the world garden of poetry will have about 300 trees, each one named after a great poet from different countries. And nearby, this is both a physical and digital space where you can enter and get acquainted with world poetry on various topics, from space to nature, themes of love, and walk along these routes. It's a really cool and exciting project that I've envisioned for this particular sum of money. All of this is developing and moving along at its own pace, so to speak.
Okay, let's clarify for the people who are watching. So when they buy a painting, the money they invest in the purchase doesn't just stay with the holder, right? And the artist, so you have your own white paper, right? Is it published somewhere or?
Yes, of course. Everything is on my social media. That's right. And moreover, there are only 350 people in total who will be holding. At the moment, there are already 150 people who are holding this collection. Some have 2, some have 1, some have 3 paintings. And naturally, everyone basically, just like all collections have developed, only I, as an artist, am offering my own roadmap, right? These are people who own this NFT, and of course, they have lifetime access to this garden. They can visit for free. That's right. There are only 350 people in total. Naturally, I am preparing some of the paintings so that they can be displayed in digital galleries of museums around the world. Definitely, well, a few of them are 100% going to end up there. This painting is waiting for its moment, waiting for its buyer, waiting for its collector, who will see this idea, will see its creative, constructive potential. Why is this being done and for what purpose? And essentially, we will create this garden together, because the person who buys this painting also, in a way, becomes part of this world garden of poetry as someone who sees and understands well the story and what makes up the culture of the peoples of the world.
Actually, I think that definitely won't be enough, because the next question I wanted to discuss is our favorite AI, which has been the only thing people talk about lately. There are sensational headlines everywhere saying that AI will replace everything and everyone, right? But you've already partially answered that. I wanted to ask you, as a professional in this field, what do you think, first of all, how can AI help you personally?
With speed, with time, with saving time, basically it can help me save time. Definitely it's actually, well, an awesome assistant, but it doesn't replace the artist as a person. It absolutely does not replace the artist. Anyone who is afraid that artificial intelligence will replace them is not an artist, not a poet, not a composer. It means they don't understand their own essence, their own depth, and what they are truly capable of creating as an artist. If someone is afraid of this, then that's it. They haven't fully opened up yet. It means they still need to work on their own self-discovery and state of being. Because artificial intelligence, well, it will replace people in business, in design, and in some other areas, right? But it won't replace the artist. It will never replace a creative individual. Moreover, it will only enhance the creative individual. If it enhances them so much that, well, a creative person used to have 2 hands, and now with artificial intelligence, it's like they have 6 hands.
And if we look at the world of art as a whole, what will remain human in art if we talk about the human aspect in the next 10 years?
Everything that is created directly by a human being. So it's just another segment. A person can make something themselves. Then the next segment is when a person creates together with artificial intelligence. Then 90% is artificial intelligence and 10% is human. Everything just gets segmented. That's all. And this will cost money, and that will cost money, and the other will cost money too. And I have a suspicion that in the end, the most expensive thing will actually be the human who creates. The AI hype will pass in the same way. Everyone will buy and sell into this whole story, and then return to the fact that in reality, the artist will remain the most valuable. That a book printed on paper will remain the most expensive. Human to human interaction will remain the most valuable. You see, when all of this becomes, well, artificial and it costs next to nothing, all the information in the world will basically be worth pennies and you can access it. The most valuable thing will still be communication, like the way you and I are talking right now. That's 100% true. And it's the same with artists, with books, with literature, and with music. When you can listen to music being played live on musical instruments right in front of you, that will be the most valuable thing. And that's already, well, basically a matter of the next decade.
I agree. But, you know, I have another interesting fact. I've noticed, for example, if we look at our current world, in traditional art, the author was a myth. Yes, essential. People like Banksy, Van Gogh, and others. But in the digital world, for some reason, everything is the opposite. There are DAO algorithms, collective identities. Where is there room for personal expression in all this? Basically, it's all the other way around. There are algorithms, DAOs, collective identities. So where is there room for personal expression here? Because there are projects, for example, without an author like Pax, eCopy, or even those apes, right? There's not really a team behind them. They're managed by a DAO. But here, there are authors.
Yes.
And it's like they're starting to divide up the market.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's starting to segment. So really, maybe, let's call them works of art without an author. They're created by a team. They're created by an entrepreneurial team that's making money from it. That's one kind of project, just like any project that's created in the world. There's one person, an artist, this is a second segment, who creates his own product. And he is visible, he is known, he's pumping up his personal brand.
Yes.
And from a personal brand, it goes to the market and gives such a story. That's what I'm saying. These will all be segments, and here they don't contradict anything, nothing. It goes, well, as if in its own way. Just got another one, another bracelet that works.
I've also been reading a lot of information lately. Sometimes it just slips my mind. Museums are trying to digitize their heritage through NFTs. What do you think about these attempts? Because so far I haven't seen any Louvre NFTs.
I think, well, they possess quite a significantly large number of artifacts. I believe they will meticulously digitize and subsequently release comprehensive digital copies of their extensive museum collections. That's exactly what I'm talking about. They'll have a digital art department in every museum where they'll select artists who are creating right now. And today, the artists who are diligently walking in the vibrant and evolving field of digital art are truly like the visionary Van Goghs and the impressionistic Monets of their contemporary era. And it will undoubtedly take them a significantly shorter amount of time to become widely recognized and celebrated for their groundbreaking artistic contributions. 15 or 20 years will be enough for them, unlike Van Gogh, for example, who had to die first and then wait even longer and so on. So time is shrinking, and for a digital artist, I'm telling you, it will take about 10 years to become famous, 10 to 15 years. So by 2035, we will already see digital departments in famous museums, and there will be artists who are extremely popular, alive, and highly valued.
I'm really curious because it's always been unclear, will we eventually have an offline museum or an internet museum in the metaverse?
It will be both. I'm saying there is no contradiction. So they won't replace each other. There will be an offline museum where you can see everything, and there will also be a VR museum where you put on glasses and walk around viewing paintings from home, from your own chair. That's one effect.
By the way, speaking of effects, we also forgot to discuss the fact that unlike in real life, NFTs don't have to be static. NFTs can be dynamic.
Yes, that's possible.
Right. And do you personally use dynamic NFTs?
No, I haven't used anything like that yet. Just 2D for now.
2D?
Yes.
That's cool because essentially the artist can draw two versions of a painting and it can
Yes.
change in appearance.
Yes, you can even add sound filters. You can do anything really as far as your imagination as an artist and creative person goes. You can even embed things basically.
Among the most well-known NFT artists, who would you highlight? Who do you like?
Well, to highlight this, Xcopy can certainly be mentioned, and also Beeple, because he's currently trending, because he's consistently creating that kind of truly original and compelling story.
I like Beeper's vision because he doesn't just make sticker packs one after another. Beeple is someone who's immersed in the market, who tries to turn the market into a kind of comic book.
Yeah.
And he promotes this comic through his Twitter, and during strong waves, he buys, launches his own collections. So his approach is probably a bit different. He observes, stirs up interest, and then sells.
Yeah, it's a business-minded approach.
Yes, a business approach.
Gary Vee is also pretty interesting.
Gary V. Show us his top work here, the most expensive one. Question. You have 350 paintings in your collection.
Yes.
Now everyone will buy them? What happens next? Is there any plan?
My plan is to sell the most expensive NFT painting in the world and build a world poetry garden. Also, I keep adding to the paintings on canvas, street art, and we'll see what kind of results come from all of this. And poetry, I don't go out anywhere. I write poems, and I'm also working on books. So I work in literature as well.
Is it possible to do some kind of commercial NFT project with you, like a collection, for example? If, for example, some company comes with a proposal to create a joint collection?
Well, of course, we can talk and discuss this idea. It depends on what it's for, why, and for what reason. If it's just about rushing in, grabbing the money, and running away, then no. But if it's a project with a philosophical context and an understanding of what we're doing for the company, then yes. Well, I look at the people, at the project, but really at the person. In general, I tend to look at people. That is, I don't work with those who just want to make money and run, leaving everything behind, but rather with those who are focused on development, on the long term, on how it will impact society, even if it's just 50, 100, or 1,000 people. And what kind of context it brings to the story of a person's development, or whether it's just about cashing in and running away. Well, that's just not interesting to me. What interests me is working heart to heart. First of all, that's truly vital and lasts forever. After all, as people, we are also, in a way, a blockchain ourselves. Everything we do gets recorded, just like blockchain. In fact, all these things are created in the image and likeness of humans. And what else attracted me to blockchain? It's that it's very similar to human life, essentially. The fact that such a technology was created, which essentially replicates a human being and confirms that in reality a person's entire life is a record, everything is recorded, and it is definitely read by someone later, then reviewed, and then goes on to become some new experience. That's it. And blockchain, as we created it, right? All these records, it actually confirms this. And we need to move toward a creative path, because everything really is being recorded. Even if you do something and no one knows about it, there are definitely servers that are reading us. Well, in the end,
Moscow definitely records everything.
Moscow definitely records everything.
When launching the NFT sector, the story with the metaverse was an integral part of the second iteration. How do you feel about this field in general? They also had a sharp surge, but then it died down very quickly. So NFTs are still working, right? But the metaverses didn't take off in the way they were originally expected to.
I think that now, when all of this has its moment, NFTs, metaverses, artificial intelligence, and some other project will come out and also have its boom. Everyone will understand what is necessary and what isn't. Everyone will try them out, and eventually they will merge into one cool tool where they all work together. That's it. And whoever manages to combine the metaverse, NFTs, and artificial intelligence into a single entity, like, for example, next generation social network, that's what will really work great, where they all work together to speed up decision making and information gathering. So right now they need to be brought together into a single unit, into an ecosystem. Yes, that will work with a person fundamentally on every level, not separately, like just the metaverse, for example. Right now they're just coming together like, like fingers, 1, 2, 3, but they need to come together as a palm, as a hand, and then that's when you get real impact. And right now this is, well, we just experimenting anyway, and everyone thinks that since it was just invented, it should already be a hit, but what's really happening is testing, and more testing. Until 2030, all of this will be a period of testing different projects on new technologies, and after that, maybe even earlier.
Well, if you had the chance to build your own metaverse, in your opinion, what would it be like? What would it be made of? You can just name the key elements.
Well, my metaverse would be the world garden of poetry, of course. That's my segment, literature, culture. And naturally, it would be a metaverse in the field of art. It's being built now. It's also being tested, the vision, how people do it, not just to play. Like, games are a really cool thing, but also while playing, to understand and become aware. So it's like a whirlwind, so that while playing, immersing yourself in your own self, you kind of pull out what's actually embedded within you. Every person has so much inside them that they don't even know they're capable of.
There's a lot of untapped potential.
Absolutely. Everyone gets those little signals, like when they think, I'd like to play something on the guitar too. The signals are there, but they don't act on them. And maybe that's exactly where he's true. All the blocks that are holding him back right now, he's earning 250, 300,000, but maybe he could be making 1.5 or even 3 million. And it turns out all he needs to do is just tap into his creative energy, like play the guitar, and that's it. He just takes off.
He doesn't even realize that he can earn that much without stressing himself out. Well, how do you do that? For example, at your previous job?
Yeah. But he needs to, take a look. But it's not just about art. It's about different things in general.
And we talked about ether. What could you say from your side about tone? Is tone interesting for artists? Because there have also been a lot of interesting collections released on tone. And today it's not just a blockchain, but also kind of an emerging metaverse, right? Because they have a very large ecosystem of products and a very active audience. And for you as an artist, why might the tone blockchain not be attractive at the moment?
Why not attractive? It's just that I'm the kind of person who focuses on one thing and tries to build an ecosystem out of that one thing. You could, of course, try to cover all the bases and keep up with everything, but I guess that's just not my approach. And actually, as an ecosystem, tone is really cool, honestly. And that's precisely why, in fact, a skilled artist can truly work wonders there, because you just need to fully immerse yourself within this particular ecosystem. The tools it provides in just one of its features, like in Telegram, are actually a next generation network, a next generation grid, where you can really create anything starting from those bots. You can basically do anything you want there, implement absolutely anything.
Tell me, when you launched your artworks, did you follow any particular guidelines or principles by rules from regulators? And are there any regulatory restrictions for NFT artists?
No, we didn't follow any guidelines at all. There was complete freedom at first, and regulators only appeared later, a bit after. And naturally, they started blocking things. Then all these economic and political issues started, and things began to be monitored and steered in the directions that suited them. That's how it was, indeed. And here, the artist is kind of a person who creates, but for him, it's like, okay, here's a fence right here, you see. It is forbidden. You can hear.
Yes. It's just that when NFT appeared, I noticed that there were big news stories about how NFT, supposedly it was art, as in the regular world, was used to launder cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
By buying them it well at a high price, then selling and so on, so on, so on. As an artist, for example, do you comply with any requirements that currently exist in the regulatory market for users?
Well, definitely, if someone comes to me and says, listen, let's launder some money through your collection, well, that's just unacceptable. I won't accept them and so on. What I have in mind is more important to me. For example, let's build a garden of poetry, a world garden of poetry. That's what it's needed for. That's what the money is for. Let's do that. Actually, everything depends on the person's state of mind. I've noticed that those who are open to laundering money, those are the people who attract that kind of crowd.
Yeah, that's true.
You see what I mean? It's like a kind of mutual attraction. And those who are ready to create, like I spent 2 days painting, making art, and people would come up to me and say, oh, what are you doing? You know, that's really interesting. It's like this, you know, from the heart.
Not with an agenda.
From the heart, yes. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I say, and what about you? Well, we have some containers. So I ask, can I paint the containers? When people are drawn to each other, you can even start painting containers together. Can I paint a container? Well, let's say a mining setup and add, you know, a creative touch to it. And maybe like just one, hey, could we maybe make sneakers, you know, with your artwork on them? Of course we can, like merch and so on. And then it turns into, well, a creative story where your art can actually influence and expand the world. And when you're like ready for something, damn it, and someone comes up to you like, hey, what's up?
Should we do?
Yeah, let's do something. Let's cook something up too, just like that. And that's it. The kind of person you are basically is immediately reflected by those who approach you. They mirror you right away. And when this person approaches you, you should realize, damn, something's off with me. I mean, you should also be able to read the space around you. It's actually very smart, really. I mean, we always think that we're so cool as individuals, especially when something works out for us, or we learn a ton and we're like, yeah, that's me, right? Like, I've got it all figured out here. But in reality, the space around us is also alive, and it mirrors and guides us. There's also this feeling that this space, well, kind of thinks too. It thinks too. Right. So right now, besides our own heads, you and I, talking and thinking, there's also a third one.
One that hears us.
One that also observes. It observes, and it also kind of steers the story of our interaction in the direction that we mirror. This is also an interesting thing if you pay attention to it. Like on any forum or in a large gathering of people, you'll kind of feel this third observer, and it mirrors both who you approach and who comes to you. It's an amazing thing, but
Cool.
yeah,
I even agree with you.
it's a really great thing. You just need to turn it on. A lot of people don't turn it on, they don't focus their attention on it, but it's actually an important thing, and it's within a person's control.
Well, I think when you start to listen to yourself a bit more, it works.
Yeah,
When you don't listen to yourself and contradict yourself, it doesn't work
yeah,
because there is no mirror.
yes. You see, we have come to an understanding already.
I have a series of just quick questions there, if you don't mind, that I'd like to ask you.
Yes,
They will need to be answered briefly.
in a word.
And in one word, you can even use two.
In one was,
Can we have two? Okay, ready?
let's try
There will be 15 of them,
84.
15 questions. NFT or poetry, what will remain after the end of the world?
Poetry.
The center of the earth.
It could remain, you know, poetry in NFT form could remain.
Okay, fine. The center of the earth or the ocean, where else would you send art?
To the center of the earth.
The most overrated NFT collection?
The apes.
Which work would you definitely not sell, even for $1 million?
The unwritten one.
What does blockchain smell like?
Numbers.
Which artist would you not want to end up in the same gallery with?
I don't know.
No one at all?
Number.
Okay.
No, I don't have any strong contradiction like that.
What's more important, to be the first or to be eternal?
To be happy.
Which emotion would you tokenize?
joy.
Was there ever a moment when you thought this is all a failure?
Yes.
Which gets criticized more, paintings or text?
Paintings.
Do NFTs have a soul?
They do.
What really annoys you in the Web3 world?
Nothing annoys me there. I'm attracted to it.
What exactly would you choose to permanently engrave on the blockchain?
A poem.
Tell us the poem. Can you share it? Is it a poem that you would truly want to leave behind forever as your legacy?
I would actually leave a whole book. I'm working towards that. But a poem that I can share right now in our context is this one. Think like a winner. Act with the fire of a star. Either you're just a spectator or you're the blacksmith of fate. If you turn to stone, if you're frozen in ice, ignite what you have in your soul. Melt your cold fear. The lava of your desires melts the basalt of problems, sparks of memories, lightning of change. This is the kind of poem that can be recorded on the blockchain as one of the stories.
That's really cool. Thank you. Thank you very much for the interview. It was really great. Very nice. With us was the coolest NFT artist I know. I'm very glad that this person was our guest today. I'll leave the contact information in case you want to commission a piece or make a purchase. And I recommend you buy that very painting from the ISS, because if everyone sells out with the painting, later on you can sell it for a higher price.
100%, mine is already selling for more because art always appreciates in value. And if the artist is in it for the long haul, art always grows in value.
So we'll also leave a link to OpenSea. So go ahead and buy. Have a great day, everyone. Stay in touch.
Thank you.